I know, I'm super duper early, but I got to get in and get out. Welcome in. Bishop on Air with a Wednesday edition for you. The Illinois General Assembly back in session today, and they're starting early. They've got 2 8 o'clock committee hearings. So they're in full force, and all kinds of legislation flying out of committees with a deadline for Friday. And looks like we've got a little bit of an indication of what's going on with the direction of legislation, and something that we've seen before, and it deals with, of course, the Democrats having the supermajority in the Illinois House. So we'll hear a little bit about that. We'll take a look at a few other things, but I do want to start with the latest in the gun ban litigation in the Southern District of Illinois Federal Court. So welcome back. A short segment today, and it's going to be kind of all-encompassing because I got to get in and get out back to the Illinois State Capitol for legislative session. So thanks for taking time with me. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. As I do this on my own time, it's just me hanging out in my home office. I was able to kind of piece together this rig, and I like flexing my talk show muscle after having done it for 15 years on terrestrial radio, so I appreciate you guys being here so early. Good morning to those joining the live chat. And if you want to join live, of course, you can do so, or you can watch this later on, which I know a lot of you do. But let's get to it, all right? I apologize for taking up already a minute of your time with all of the niceties, but let's jump right into it with the Southern District of Illinois federal case. You've got the state of Illinois facing a lawsuit against the gun and magazine ban. This clearly has been something we've been watching for the past year and a month or so, and you've got the state banning the sale of certain types of firearms, semi-automatic rifles, shotguns and handguns, certain attachments, magazines over certain capacities. So labeling them assault weapons, the legislation was approved, but quickly people sued, and we've got several cases that are asking for the U.S. Supreme Court to intervene. But in the Southern District of Illinois Federal Court, you have Judge Stephen McGlynn issuing the latest in a scheduling conference set for April 11th. So that's coming up in a week's time. So that's going to be via Zoom, and the litigants are going to get together to discuss scheduling issues and a timeline for discovery. So what this means is you've got the case moving forward on the merits. So this order was issued by Judge Stephen McGlynn yesterday. And again, let's go ahead and pull that up just so you can see kind of the language here. Let me get this all squared away, and you can see I just copied that from the docket, but it says order scheduling conference via Zoom April 11th 1:30 before Judge Stephen McGlynn. The parties should prepare to discuss scheduling issues and timeline for discovery. Parties will receive that Zoom via email. So I'm not sure if this is going to be open to the press. I'm hoping it is. If it is, I will do what I can to monitor it and get out the latest, and it's a good thing that you should follow me on X. Just search Bishop on Air if I'm able to tune into these things. That's how I'm going to be doing real live updates, so be sure to check that out. So I wanted to get that in front of you. Of course, that case challenging the state's gun and magazine ban is continuing to move forward. Not the only thing on our sheet today. We have an interesting proposal that has advanced the Illinois House Judiciary Committee, and it deals with law enforcement. And this measure from State Representative Ann Stava Murray was approved through the House Judiciary Criminal Committee yesterday. It says do pass with a vote of 10-5. What does this bill do? It essentially, and as the synopsis provides, law enforcement officers may not be required to arrest a specific number of persons within a designated period of time. So that's dealing with law enforcement. And I saw this because yesterday you had the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police say that they wanted to oppose this particular measure. So let's take a look at this again. Law enforcement arrest quotas, and if you look at the witness slips, it's pretty incredible. You see kind of a split among law enforcement agencies. As the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police said they were opposed, you had a bunch of proponents, including the Aurora Police Department and the Association of Professional Police Officers, and several others from various different types of law enforcement groups. But again, the opponents, which outnumbered the proponents, includes the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police, the Morris Police Department, Huntley Police Department, and a whole host of others. So kind of fascinating to see that measure advance. But the other bill that the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police opposed was dealing with domestic violence and firearms. And this is a bill from State Representative Maura Hirschauer, and we've talked about this one before. It essentially provides that if somebody seeks a court order to prohibit the respondent from possessing a firearm, firearm ammunition, and firearm parts that could be assembled or operated into a firearm, the court shall immediately issue a search warrant directing seizure of firearms. And who conducts search warrants? Law enforcement. So they have been opposed to this because the red flag laws, as they're said to be, might be too burdensome for law enforcement to have to go out and serve warrants. And that also puts people in other harm's way, and a whole host of other concerns I've heard shared about enhancing red flag laws. Illinois already has a red flag law. But if you have an order of protection against you and you have firearms, then you can give those firearms to somebody else eligible to hold those firearms. So it could be, a relative in a different household. It could be a friend in a different household. It could be, somebody non-law enforcement. But Hirschauer's bill would essentially require law enforcement to conduct that red flag warrant search and seizure. That's just with the procedure of getting that firearm, let alone the questions about red flag laws in general, which civil libertarians have substantial issues over. So that measure did not advance yesterday in the House Judiciary Criminal Committee. So it's still sitting there in committee, has not advanced. So I guess that's 1 for 2 for the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police. But when it comes to red flag laws, you have the Illinois Department of Public Health putting out a new campaign that they've launched with the National Ad Council. Let's pull this up. Illinois launches new Pause to Heal Firearm Restraining Order education campaign. And it talks about partnership to raise awareness about the life-saving potential of firearm restraining orders, they say, or red flag laws. And launching today during National Public Health Week, involving the Illinois Department of Public Health, Brady, the United Against Gun Violence, and the Ad Council. The Illinois effort will phase in with this first part, a planned multi-state campaign said to be called Pause to Heal. It's designed to prevent firearm suicides and other shootings by educating the public about the state's firearm restraining order law and the power that family and household members have to ask courts to temporarily restrict access to guns and ammunition when a person poses a threat to themselves or others. And it goes on from there, talks about the ad campaign that they're going to be pushing, gives you an example of an ad campaign that they're going to be putting into print publications. And if it'll come up, I know I was having problems with this yesterday as well. I'm trying to get the actual document to show up. But essentially, you're going to see more of this. And this seems to be also an effort with the national campaign, the Ad Council, and so on. So interesting to see that as well. And I'm taking a look here at a few other things that I wanted to get to. Oh, yes. When it comes to this week at the General Assembly, a lot's going on, and I would encourage you to go and check out thecentersquare.com/Illinois. All right, just go to thecentersquare.com, click on states, and go to Illinois. You'll be able to find a whole host of things that are popping off at the State House, and of course, this is all open to you, and you can even get a newsletter and get the latest. But yesterday, we heard about a new state agency the governor wants to bring about for early childhood, some questioning whether or not a new state agency is actually going to bring about savings and efficiencies and reduce redundancies. I think State Representative Blaine Wilhauer is the one who said He's never seen a new state agency come in and reduce government redundancies. But you also have a Friday deadline for bills to move out of committee. That's why it's going to be pretty fast-paced today and tomorrow, because Friday they have to pass legislation dealing with whatever their priorities are, and those priorities can range. And what are we going to see move out of committee? There's a whole host of things, but one thing that some at the State House have raised concerns over is the issue of whether or not Republican bills are going to be able to advance, or if it's just going to be Democrat bills that are going to advance. My colleague Katrina Peterson was able to talk with a couple of Republicans and a couple of Democrats yesterday. State Representative Dan Ugasti, Laura Favor-Diaz, Jeff Kiker, and Anna Moeller speaking about what they hope to advance here in the final few days that they have to get bills out of committee.
I actually have a number of bills I asked to come out of rules. Don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but it was the majority of the bills I have filed. And it's my understanding that none are going to be heard in committee this week, or have been allowed a hearing in committee so far. I may end up getting a subject matter on one after the deadline week passes, but it doesn't look like I'll have a hearing in committee on any of my bills. I don't file bills for the sake of filing a bill, because I don't think there's a need for it, or that it's not a good idea for something that would help the state of Illinois. And it's not just my bills. I'm chief co-sponsor on a number of bills, such as property tax relief in the state of Illinois, that Representative Ozinga filed, and I'm the chief co-sponsor on it, which would provide over the next 21 years approximately $82.5 billion in property tax relief to the people of Illinois. It's a great bill. It's something we should all get behind, and yet nothing's happening on it so far. Every chairman, I think, has different criteria they might use. They may not. I don't know exactly. But you have to go talk to them and ask them to call your bills. And on my bills, they're not getting called. And many Republican bills aren't getting called. I'd say the vast majority are not.
Currently in Illinois, we require insurance to cover hormone replacement therapy if you've had a hysterectomy. But the latest research shows that we really need to expand it for all people who go through menopause. So adding in, so the bill takes out that requirement. So it'd be open to all people going through menopause, as well as strengthens the language for all modalities of delivery of hormone replacement therapy.
I think if you look at the proportion of bills coming out as to how many members we have in the chamber, there are fewer Republican bills coming out than I would like to see. So hopefully we can get that changed this week. 3 bills that I'm looking to get moved this week. One of them deals with juvenile trafficked individuals and giving them a pathway to get their life back together. I've got a bill that's going to help senior drivers with Secretary of State issues. And then we've also got a bill that's hopefully going to address roadside waste from trash haulers in the state of Illinois.
2 weeks ago, we passed out of the Human Services Committee the Healthcare Protection Act. This is the governor's initiative to take on the insurance industry to make sure that it's more consumer friendly and not denying access to care to consumers and patients around the state.
So again, that was just a sampling of a couple of Republicans and a couple of Democrats and the bills that they have either advanced, hope to advance, or aren't seeing much movement on for whatever reason. So interesting to kind of see that, and that's how it's going to play out for this week. Legislators are back in session with the Illinois House. Then you've got the Illinois Senate with a couple of committee hearings, one in Chicago, one in Springfield today. But the Senate's not in session. They come back next week. The House has that Friday deadline to advance bills out of committee to when they then can start passing bills out of the House. And then those bills go over to the Senate. And the Senate has deadlines for Senate bills to get out of committee so that they can then pass the Senate floor to get over to the House. So this is the dance we're going to play until the end of May, and I'll be keeping you guys updated, but definitely go and check out thecentersquare.com. Again, thecentersquare.com, where you'll find not just Illinois news, but national headlines and so much more. All right, it's free and open to you, and you can even donate, and I would encourage you to do that. Thecentersquare.com. All right, guys, have yourselves a wonderful rest of the day. I got to skedaddle. I was in early, so those who are coming in late and you're like, what's going on? Oh my gosh, I'm late. Yeah, I started early because I got to get out of here. So we'll see you tomorrow here with Bishop on Air.